Hi, Janet.
But enough about Blitzball.
That's right. Enough about Blitzball. Time for other things, I guess.
Good morning, Janet. Good morning, Brad. And good morning, Rocky. Not yet.
Not yet. No,
they'll
they'll never see this. Yeah, it's true.
They'll never see this.
They'll never know. And there's the hype train. That's actually, now that I've got all the camera stuff fixed, I think my goal for next week is to get the hype train stuff working for the bottom of the screen.
Cool.
I think that's my plan. Because I can host it on, I can fix all the problems we were having with it pretty easily now.
Love it. Love to see it. Let's keep it up.
Yeah.
Wait, we haven't done breakfast in 2 weeks?
Our last breakfast was the 26th.
Wow, a whole
26th.
theoretical month ago.
I mean,
not an actual month ago,
right.
But a calendar month ago, a different name of the month we were in.
That's right. I am Brad Rocky, so Rocky says hi. Correct. Yes.
Oh, just breaking all the rules. I like it.
That's right. Friends, how was your weekends? I hope that you all had a splendiferous time doing whatever it was that you're doing. And I hope that you were safe doing whatever it is that you were doing this weekend, especially if you're in the United States.
Particularly the West Coast, major cities. Good job.
Cheers.
Out there,
yeah,
everybody.
I was going to say.
BK, what will we all be enjoying for breakfast today? Well, too much stuff.
The lovely taste of the void. Consume the void.
You were talking about, I mean, obviously coffee and or void. But for the show, oh boy, do we have too many stories due to the insane amount of gaming news that happened over the course of 6 days.
I have a theory. Okay, are you ready? And this is a pre-show theory. This isn't going to make it to Rocky.
Wow.
My theory is that Jeff Keighley wants to relive his glory days of being in college, okay? And he wants everyone to have the same experience that he had when at frat parties he used to shotgun beers. I have no evidence that Jeff Keighley shotgun beers at frat parties. Just go with me on this. And that's why he condenses all of the news into a format that feels like you're trying to shotgun a beer.
But that's just one show.
No, but all of the shows are because Summer Game Fest is this weekend. They're all literally in its orbit. It's all because
they're in its orbit, but that's not Jeff wanting to shotgun all the information. That's everyone doing. That's everyone latching on.
I feel like that's sort of like always been his goal, is to like create the Nexus, not the Torment Nexus, the regular Nexus. And have that be like the center of.
I think Jeff. News. I think not even just Jeff. The producers of Summer Games Fest would rather that no other fests are going on this week because it takes away from the news from their fest.
They have to know that that's impossible. There are of course going to be things that are in the same weekend because otherwise they're like.
Of course there are, but like when GDC and PAX are at the same time, but five of them, if not more.
Well, so we actually skipped one.
Which one did we skip?
Day of the Devs. We skipped Day of the Devs. It's the Summer Game Fest post show. We'll talk more about it when we go live. Janet, Brad, tell us about your weekends. What were you up to? This should be near at hand. Isn't this
no one who wears those sorts of shoes ever drank beer in a normal manner? Wait, what kind of shoes does he wear?
He was wearing golden shoes. He had like a suit and like gold or like bright yellow colored shoes for Summer Games Fest.
Oh, that's just fun.
It was, but also like it didn't match the suit or anything else. They were just there, right? And it was.
Listen, I have not seen the shoes, but I'm for it. I think go Jeff Fashion Choice, go.
I agree.
And for the record, I don't know if I've ever drank beer in a normal manner, so maybe that is accurate.
I can't drink beer, so, it's fine.
So that also works for you.
Right, yeah, correct.
So we could all wear golden shoes.
I did once film for a senior sketch, a theoretical, not actual, okay, a skit about a 3-story tall beer bong. wasn't an actual thing. We just made up.
But you can do it.
Story. Yeah, no,
you can do it.
I mean, like the physics works, right?
Yeah.
But like, Fan pre-release. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Finally beat the Sentient Pest Night Lord. Nice.
Oh, hell yeah.
Watch Game Fest and made bread. Nice, Annie. Nice.
Yeah, I think I haven't beaten any new Night Lords since Will and I's Thursday stream with Jay.
That was Wednesday, my dude.
Yeah, that one. That was the one. Oh, that's not true. Red and I over on not a new one. Red and I. This is inappropriate to say, but I need to. Okay, so in Night Rain, right? When you're gearing up, Monsters is gluten-free alcohol beer. That doesn't make any sense, but trust me. There you go. So in Night Rain, when you select your characters and they do the dramatic walk to the eagles,
yeah,
and you see them from behind and the vistas over the thing. So Red and I were in a group. Will, you were busy at the time, so it was just me and Red, and you get a third random person to play with you,
right.
And it said like Red's dramatic name, Zoe's dad, my name, and the third name that broke any sense of awe was Gok Cobbler. And
I love a good summer cobbler. Cobbler.
The cobbler was excellent, and if you're out there, Cobbler, thank you for being a good teammate. It was so funny when we're like drama, Gok Cobbler.
Oh,
it really tied the night together.
Right? Yeah. It just makes sense. It just makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, and Thunder's got it. That person was clear, and that's what we're talking about. Their shoes were made of Gok, Gock.
Right. Yeah. Obviously. Yeah. 100%.
All right. We've tangented too much.
Well, we got 10 seconds. We got 10 seconds.
10 seconds left on the train, so no one do anything else.
On the nerd. Nerd.
Yeah. Oh. See? And Miss Ink, which the Gok Cobbler, the one who cobbled those yellow Keeley shoes. This is all.
That's right.
Everything's coming together.
Everything's coming up Millhouse. All right, let's start thanking people. I gotta thank Zariah for 73 months of Prime.
Wow.
I've known Zariah for... Okay, anyway. Schrodinger's Cat 4 for 13 months at Tier 1. NX Supper for 73 months. Czar for 61 months. Cameron for 54 months. Louis Chang for 73 months. Proxy for 58 months at Tier 2. Book Dragon for the community gift sub. Sean in 3D for 43 months at Tier 3. Gladius for 63 months. Proxy for gifting us up to Kestrel. Carrion for biddies. And Mentor for 51 months. Odin here for making a bunch of emotes big and silly. Synchronous for 44 months. Brasser for 58 months. Raymond for gifting us up to that guy. Jimmy Coppershelf for making a giant crab appear on our screen. From America for 62 months. And Aspen Fox for 59 months.
Thank you, everybody.
Woo! All right.
Hey,
cool.
Will, did you load up the graphic yet?
I did when I started. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I have the OBS is conveniently doing this thing where it starts on the black screen. So every time I move to this screen to start doing stuff, it plays it for the first time. So I don't have to worry about forgetting.
Small correction, Will.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I've known you for longer. Wow. All right. Anyway. All right, I'm going to go do my best impression of the Crypt Keeper while we get started.
Right? Is that how he sounds like?
Yeah, that's totally it. So what is this emote? Hold on. That's pretty good. I like that one. Okay, so we are going to go to black. We're going to come back. We're going to do a show. We have a lot to talk about. We have many a thing to talk about. So please look forward to that.
It's going to happen right now.
When will we get you two on Mario Kart World? I'm going to be playing Mario Kart World later today. Matt has meetings and work, but we'll join if possible, and then we'll see when.
We'll see how long you're going.
Especially because, Matt, I don't know if you noticed this, but co-op cups now count. Co-op.
Do they?
Co-op Grand Prix. I played the co-op Grand Prix and I got the trophy and it counted on my single player.
That's great. Okay, cool. So, and the other, I just want to make sure that we can team up to do 24s.
Yeah.
To do the world one, because that is by far. Well, we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. All right, cool. We're gonna go to black. We're gonna do the thing. Chat. Will you miss us? Probably. That's okay. Hey, I'm working too. I'm working hard to bring you the entertainment that you crave. All right, cool. BRB. Good morning, Matt. Matt.
Oh! I'm sorry. Good morning, Will.
And good morning to all of you.
Welcome to Games for Breakfast, the only show on the internet where we talk about this week's gaming and tech news. And I got Lakitu. It's all fine.
Is it fine? You can stop whenever you want to.
I can stop whenever I want to. I haven't been playing Mario Kart for the past 72 hours. You have. You know what? Every accusation is an admittance. And that doesn't count when I say it. I've learned that from watching the news. Everybody, hello, good morning. Welcome to the show where we have too much to talk about. It's a lot.
Yeah, so we're going to start with a preface at the top. Normally we do like a blend of like the gaming news that's happened this week and like tech and gaming. There's no time for that. There is no time for that. So we're gonna tell you a little bit about what happened this weekend. We're gonna talk a little bit about some stuff in our lives, and then we're gonna start doing recap stuff because this weekend there were 5 major press conference style trailer release things for all of the games that you could possibly be interested in until mid 2026, if not later.
Right.
And then also a little thing called the Switch 2 came out. And we both managed to get it. And that's an interesting story in and of itself. But yeah,
we'll get there.
We will get there. But first and most importantly, Matt, I got to play Final Fantasy Magic.
How was it, Will? How was the new set?
It was so good.
You played at a physical place.
Yeah, I found a store near me that was doing a physical pre-release. It still had room. They do online pre-registration, so when I figured out that I had time, I pre-registered at like midnight online.
Nice.
And then I just showed up the next day. It was great. And I placed third out of like 20 people.
That's awesome.
Because it turns out that if you're familiar with FF9, Vivi or Nitier, little Black Mage friendo,
does work.
It is silly levels of broken in the new Magic set. And the number, it's really funny. There's a spell called Self-Destruct. And most things can cast Self-Destruct once, but because of the way the rules work, Vivi can Self-Destruct twice. And the number of games that I won on the back of Vivi blowing up twice is very high.
All right.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had a blast. I'm definitely going to be going back. But and importantly, later on, if you are a fan, I have this, and we're going to open some packs later on stream so that...
Give it to me.
No, it's fine.
Damn it.
You can't. Nope. They're all mine. Mine.
He set up this force field in our kitchen.
I liked it. See, it's mine. We'll be opening those later on stream. If you want to come hang out and talk about the set in more detail when we have time, because we don't have time right now.
There we go. Also, side note, Munition Man, we're not going to be talking about the War Thunder stuff this week. We're going to wait and see how that develops. And we just have so much. Also, Bearer of Truth, yes, the Swish 2 will also be mentioned eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Also, this coming week, God, I hate doing announcements that aren't announcements.
Yeah, but this one we kind of don't really have a choice.
Okay, so either Friday or Saturday,
right,
Will and I are going to be interviewing cool people about a cool thing.
And that cool people that we're interviewing is definitely not Hatsune Miku.
No. Absolutely not. We actually resent the implication.
Right.
We've told you many times that we are not interviewing them, and yet persistently and consistently,
right,
you've gone online in throngs and just kept saying, when will they interview? It's not happening. It's gonna be something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
No Hatsune Miku.
No.
So
just keep that keep your expectations in check.
As a result, there is nothing firmly posted on the schedule for Friday. If the cool people doing cool things interview is not Friday, then we'll probably do something here to just hang out and chill. If it is, then we'll do that.
Yeah. There we go.
Yep. Cool.
I think that's all the news before we get into all the news.
Yeah. I mean, so we're going to talk about all the showcases. And it's sort of, we wanted to have a meta discussion about this before we get into actually talking about it, because it's kind of important. From a programming perspective, from the person who preps all the notes and chooses the stories, every week, this episode takes more than twice as long as a regular episode to prep.
Well, yeah, and even on my end, I do less on the prep side of these things. But like, since it's showcases, we basically break it down on what we're both excited about, and oftentimes the things that Will and I are excited about are not necessarily the same thing. I don't know if you noticed, Will, whenever I hit one of yours, because yours were in before mine, I just italicize mine because it's just gonna be like same.
Yeah.
you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's because in a very short span of time, everything comes out. Everything. So, like, let's ignore the Switch 2 for a second. And just...
But it's right there. I could be playing Mario Kart right now. Oh, you see.
Uh-huh. Yeah. No, go on. It's fine. No,
with this episode where Will and I just don't listen to each other.
That's right, yeah. There were pretty much constant new trailers or new announcements coming from Saturday into Sunday.
Earlier.
Oh yeah, that's right. There were some on Friday. Yeah,
so the ones we're going to cover today.
It's Friday night. Yeah.
Yeah. So just so we're clear, is June 4th was the PlayStation State of Play. June 6th was Summer Games Fest. June 7th was Wholesome Games. June 7th was also Future Game Show, and Xbox Game Showcase was June 8th. That's a lot. That's a lot of games. And please note, not complaining about all of the hype and cool stuff that everyone got to see a piece of. And we have a couple friends who are devs. We're going to talk about that in a little bit too, where some of their games got announced, and that's awesome. It's just, as a fan of as professionals in this space, it is difficult to keep track. I can't imagine, like, I was on 2 different trains just watching these, like trying to just cram them in wherever I could. Maybe I'm not as plugged in as the youths are these days. If there are any youths in the audience, please let us know how connected and plugged in you are. But I found it daunting, to the point where I don't know if this happened to you, Will. When I was watching like the third one or something, I was just like, it was starting to just like wash over me. Like I stopped paying attention and had to rewind a couple times because I was like, no, I have to pay attention to this. It's just, there's so much. Also, from an editing perspective, based on the type of the genre that the game that you're seeing and what they're trying to showcase, there's really like 3 to 4 different styles of trailer, from a pacing perspective. That is generally, I'm sure there's some outliers, but like, it just does when you've watched, when you're on the 6th hour of showcase, you're kind of like, what's happening? Where am I?
One of the best was during the Xbox showcase, they did they had the guy who's like, world premiere, right? And then there was one that it was world bleep premiere, and it was just it was for some, I don't even remember what it was for, because that bit was better than the trailer sticking in my brain, right?
Yeah.
But like, even the world premiere guys had it with this at this point, so it was kind of an issue, right? And I think, like, I cannot stress this enough, my day yesterday was I like woke up, did some video game dailies, and then started watching stuff. And I stopped watching stuff like 6 or 7 hours later to just try and get a handle on all of this, right? And I didn't watch all of it. I skipped around some.
Also, I see some people in chat and both Janet and Rocky on YouTube, or sorry, Janet and Brad on Twitch and YouTube respectively. Rocky, please message us. Where can Rocky message us, Will? I believe there's a place where they can send us what they think about stuff, and then we can answer them from there. I believe it's there.
Yeah, it's there.
As we're going through these showcases, please, if there's something that you're hyped about, or that we that we didn't hit, you can message us in Blue Sky Rocky or in the moment, Brad and Janet, like shout it out in chat. Because what I would like to do, because again, like I said, after watching so many of these, I guarantee you I missed stuff.
Yep.
And if there's something that you're hyped about, I want to know about it because I want to be hyped about it.
Yeah. That guy Jimmy brings up that they might have watched more if it was during the workday. I'm gonna disagree that that's common, but I also do want to point out that one of the big things is all of these are on YouTube. All of them are on YouTube because none of these are on TV anymore. They're all streamed, so you can just go watch them at your own pace. Even so, some of them have chapterized, and by the way, if you're watching later on YouTube, down in the doobly-doo, they'll be in our show notes. There are links to all of these showcases, like the ones that we're referencing. Some of them have chapterized the thing, so you can jump around, do exactly what you want. Some of them have long playlists that accompany them. So, like Summer Game Fest itself did the playlist of all the individual trailers, but Wholesome Games did chapters. I don't know what everyone else did.
I'll say that. I think what they're banking on, Jimmy, too, is the fact that they are all VODs, like, and shows like ours will just talk through the stuff as well on Monday. And so the fall, like, they're expecting everyone who couldn't watch over the weekend to watch during the week. It's just, I almost feel like the fact that there were so many showcases is actually damaging that algorithm, like that. I'm sure Summer Games Fest did the most work at this point as far as views. I don't know that off the top of my head. But stuff like Wholesome or even PlayStation Direct or Xbox Showcase, like if you're not in those ecosystems, that's just not what you're vibing.
Yep. I agree.
But anyway, I guess we should start because we're already 20 minutes in-ish to the show. And we gotta chat about all this stuff.
Yep. All right, let's talk state of play. So, there were other things that were announced. The big one for me and for a lot of people is they did announce that there's going to be a Final Fantasy Tactics remaster, which would like improve quality of life and upgraded graphics, and they're actually going to voice it and like not a small thing, not quite to the level of the FF7 remakes where like they're not the same game anymore, right?
It's a combo remake remaster. It's a remakester.
Yeah.
Coining that, I need a nickel every time someone says it. I am not a Final Fantasy Tactics kid. However, many of my friends are, and I've tried it. It's just not my jam.
Yeah.
However, I loved the way that this game looked, like the way that how it was implemented is basically, it seems as though you can switch between both versions of the game, like frame accurate version of the original and everything that they've done new, almost at the drop of a hat. I hope that's not just in the editing of the trailer. It felt like you could just switch it.
I think that's correct. It feels a lot like the same treatment the Halo series got when they did the updated graphics for the Master Chief Collection.
So I'm very excited about this. Will, did you play? Were you just like super deep into Tactics?
So there's a long story about this. I remember Tactics. I didn't have a PlayStation, but I remember playing Tactics over at a friend's house. I tried to replay Tactics years ago here on the channel, but the problem is the only legal current version of Tactics that's available, and I kind of wanted to make this point, is on Android. So I hooked up a tablet and tried to play the port on Android, and it sucks. The port is terrible. So now I am morally obligated to give it a second shot because of the remaster. Also because like less than 3 days before they announced the remaster, I said on stream, you know what, Thunder, if it gets a remake or a remaster, I'll play it on stream again. And then it did, thus proving that my hubris is the fastest way to get something to happen in the world. So yeah.
People are also bringing up that I'm sorry, I'm just sort of catching up here. I believe Johansson just said The only thing that really stuck with me from the main show was the Wu-Tang themed game presented by Ghostface Killer. I did not catch this one for whatever reason. Maybe I got up at that moment, but I just looked at it right now. It's called Wu-Tang Rise of the Deceiver. And it looks pretty dope.
It looks real good. It looks really good. It is. Yes, it's gonna be real good. Okay. So, Matt, what were your overall thoughts on State of Play?
I mean, overall, the first thing I clocked, and I didn't really clock this into the other ones, was at least the first 3 trailers were like, and again, this isn't a problem, it's just something I clocked, crazy violent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the first 3 trailers, I was like, oh, or I kind of, normally, I guess they space them out more, I have no idea. This time, I was just like, oh, is this the theme? I was watching the first bit on the subway. I had downloaded the thing. I'd watch these all not quite live. And I had to like keep pulling my phone closer to me because there was like kids around. I don't know. It just felt weird. I'm like, oh, and someone's face is being ripped apart. And I was like, whoa, okay. Yeah. But listen, they're going for their target demographic. Though they did start, I believe, with one of your favorites, Will, at the beginning of the showcase. It was kind of part of their like initial trailer, and it went right in. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The Lumines Arise thing?
Yes.
Yeah. It was kind of cool because it's a VR game. And I really...
For the makers of Tetris Effect.
Yeah. And I thought that one of the really cool things about State of Play was that they could have done a State of Play for VR, which is like what it feels like a lot of companies who are still like kicking around in the VR space are doing. They're like, yeah, VR is its own thing. We're going to put it somewhere else so that only the people who already have VR headsets watch it. And that means that no one will care about it, right? But Sony was like, hey, there's a cool VR game. It's in the main show.
It's the first one we're talking about in the main show.
Yeah.
Which was nice to see. I don't own Tetris Effect, but I have played it. And it is in VR. It is super fun.
It's very surreal.
Yeah, if anybody is into that, apparently Lumines Rise will be kind of like a recombobulation of your brain in a puzzle space. I
Thanks,
am very
Cave
much
Johnson.
Yeah, right. Recombobulation.
Yeah.
Yeah, new guy. Same. I did not expect that to be the lead off, but yet here we were.
Yeah.
The other one that got me, honestly, that I didn't know was coming was the new Suda51 joint, Romeo is a Dead Man. Did you catch that at all? Well, basically, it's like, again, it's super violent.
Sure.
It starts, and you're a guy named Romeo who becomes like a superhero named Dead Man. But like through incredibly violent means, and it's like a sci-fi action nonsense thing that only Suda could kind of come up with.
Okay, right. So you've told me it's a Suda51 game, right? Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. The art style and the vibe of it just felt immaculate. I really wanted to like. I was instantly like, can I play this right now? I don't quite understand what is going on, but I would like to learn. Please teach me. I really, really wanted to learn more about that. So I'm going to be doing some deep dives into that because I anything Suda does, it'll get my eyeballs instantly. Also, hey, Carter. Hi. Hello.
Hi. Hello. Well, I mean, like, there's... It wasn't just Suda, right? They also had more information on Silent Hill F, a game that we've talked about before because it might get AO'd, right? Which it would be an adults-only game, right?
Yeah.
Which is like the higher rating than M. Yes, there is one of those, and you'd be forgiven for forgetting because they don't happen. They just companies would rather alter their game than have it get an AO rating, and it looks like they might not be backing down. And Silent Hill might be going full bore at getting an AO, which would be wild, right?
Hey, go for it. Tell the story you want to tell.
Yeah.
You know, it's not an easier road. It's kind of difficult to do, but if you believe in it, you believe in it. How's Ozo? What's that? Oh, you were excited for the Digimon Story Time Stranger game? That's crazy. I have never been interested in Digimon in my life. Got it, Ozo? There you go. I saw that trailer and was like, okay. I don't know what about it. Did anyone else catch that? It felt like an elevated version of whatever that game usually is. I don't know if it was the story or something.
Whatever that game usually
whatever
is.
that game is.
Okay, I dig it.
And I was like, are they? What did they sneak into my brain and find all of the different dopamine points that would get me interested in a Digimon game?
I mean, why? Just play an isekai game. Like, it's just an isekai game. It's fine.
I like this one. Zoe came him on and said, "My people."
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that actually could That could actually be very true. It did feel Persona-esque. Also, Indy, hello.
Hello. There's been a bunch of Persona in the, for lack of a better word, the zeitgeist lately. Yeah. Especially with Persona 4 getting its own remake announcement. Whatever the new name for Persona 4, I don't get it. And Atlas keeps doing this where they're like, Persona 4 Golden Remix Part 3. And you're like, okay. Sure. How does this relate to the original? Is this Persona 4, but in a new format? Or is it a spin-off game for Persona 4? And they're like, play it and find out. And you're like, I think I'm good, thanks.
Yeah.
I have nothing against Persona, by the way.
No.
It's just not my bag.
I think that's really hitting the nail on the head for me. The thing that got me about it, because I think the core art direction of this game feels very, I don't know, cel-shaded anime, etc.
Yeah.
But then it clicks in and out of like a Persona vibe in it. And it just got me. I was like, is this the one that's going to get me? I'm going to be confused as hell if I actually try this game, because I'm sure it is. You need to know a lot of Digimon lore. But I thought it was. I'm always impressed when a franchise hits something in a showcase that I am normally not. I will just glaze over and wait. Yeah. And when I saw this, I was like, oh, there's something else here. And so I'm curious to discover what that something is. Watching the trailer right now, I also think the facial animation is a bit more precise than games of this art style, or maybe the games of this art style that I have experienced. So like it connected me with these characters whom I know nothing about a little more. I thought this was an excellent trailer. And if the trailer's job is to get people excited outside of their wheelhouse, congratulations, Bando Namkai. You know.
Mine is mine for that is later on. But I had one of those.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh yeah, there was that. Cairn was also a thing that that you were interested in that I forgot exist. Like, okay, this is gonna happen a lot. Okay, I'm gonna warn all of you. We were taking notes as we were watching way too much of this. And there will absolutely be moments where we put something down and forget what it was and have to look it up, or put something down that the other person saw, and then we remember that we thought it was dope. So that's just get braced for that, right?
So yeah, Karen is basically a mountain climbing game, like a free climbing game.
Yeah.
And I'm super curious about the way that it actually plays. If you look at the trailer, it seems like it might be one of those like buttons control limbs kind of thing, or at least the animation lends itself to that.
Yeah.
As a fan of another PSVR 2 game, Call of the Mountain, I think my favorite parts of that game was the climbing. The combat is fine, and I love Horizon, but there's something about free climbing that is, it's a thing that is realistic that humans can do, but you can set it in so many interesting locations, like beyond the interesting ones that the Earth can provide. Yeah. And I don't know. I found this game really breathtaking in that sense. Like, it just seems cool as hell.
Yeah.
It seems both like lonely and like you run into people. There's a part of it where I'm wondering if it's a mechanic where you're like in your hanging tent because you like tap a tent into the side of a mountain basically. And the character, I'm covered in cat hair. The character is like wrapping their like cut up hands. And I'm wondering if there's like an injury mechanic and all that stuff. So I'm very much looking forward to learning more about it. It looks like just the right amount of, do any of you get the feelings when you're playing games? something that you're really vibing with, and I think a lot of us do, that like I get the same feeling oftentimes if I'm into a game enough, like where like if I'm actually physically in meat space standing on the edge of something tall. Like if I'm doing that in a video game and I run to the edge of it, like in Elden Ring or something, and I stop, I'll get a minor version of like that, like real life, like,
yeah.
And I love that. I love that feeling when on the safety of my couch.
Yeah. Yeah. Do it from, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Digital vertigo.
Yeah,
precisely.
Exactly. We both had Tides of Tomorrow down as another one. Tides of Tomorrow is a online persistent-ish world multiplayer mystery adventure kind of game thing. It looks real weird and real good.
It looks like what if Waterworld mixed with Borderlands, but had a progressive online heist universe.
Yeah.
And you're like, it seems like it's hard to sort of tell exactly what's going on, but the art style seems immaculate. It's like that post-apocalyptic, but everything's still neon kind of vibe.
There was a shooter that tried real hard to exist for a while, like in the late 2000s, that had this very, very much the same vibe, except it was trying to occupy the same space as Team Fortress 2 and Overwatch. Which is not a place that most games can exist, because those are two very large animals in a not very big room.
But what the thing that I think is cool about this, from what I can tell, and again, please note that all of our reactions are not due to deep dives, it's due to what the trailers are telling us. The whole thing is supposed to be you're following other players who have played it.
Yeah.
So you're seeing their basically bits and pieces of their ghost information as they're trying to heist something, and you can follow or not follow what they do depending on if you sort of believe that they were successful or not. And what they did is still like in your run, what they did previously will have consequences in your run that will change things.
Right. So the example that they did was if they lied to someone or caused a gunfight or whatever, there may be local resistance to your very presence there because they've been predisposed to dislike you because the person before you was a jerk.
My question is, how deep does this go? Do you know what I mean? Like, because it can't be forever.
How many levels, or how many
like
players?
Like Brad played it, and then Janet played it, and then Rocky played it, and then Will played it, and then Matt played it, then Zoe played it. At what point does the world have to, like, how many cycles does it happen? I imagine there's a limit.
Yeah.
And then it would restart. But yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen something like that before, and I love the idea of making ghost data kind of matter in a gameplay mechanic sense. So I don't know. I thought that was very, very cool.
You should do one. What's up?
Oh, let's see. Well, this one's an easy one to do because you ever want to buy something and you know it's a huge waste of money. Like you know you shouldn't do it. You don't have space for it. It's too expensive. Do you really? Will would have no idea what I'm talking about. Clip that. That was lovely. But for me, it has always been an original Mortal Kombat 2 arcade cabinet. I don't think I'm ever going to get one. It doesn't make any sense for any sort of lifestyle that I live. Other than the extreme one. But the announcement that got me really pumped here was there's a Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection coming out, which is basically every mainstream and portable title of Mortal Kombat up to 4, I think, and everything in between. There's a couple surprises, but like it's apparently, what they're saying is frame accurate to all of the originals, and they've updated netcode so you can play with people
So
online.
they kept the frames the same, but they put rollback in MK1 and 2?
I guess. I have no idea. And also, I'm wondering how far it goes. They showed the old Game Boy Mortal Kombat, the original Game Boy Mortal Kombat. And I don't know if you played that. I think it had 5 characters, and 2 of them were Scorpion and Sub-Zero because they're palette swaps. It runs awful. It runs. It's probably the worst running game I've ever seen. But I saw it in the trailer, and I was like, if that's not just as awful as, I don't want it sped up, I don't want it fixed, I don't want anything. I have hours sitting in the back of my parents' car trying to play Mortal Kombat and failing miserably.
Amazing.
I don't know. Yeah, they implied that all the games are online. Yeah, right. Role playing good girl. Exactly. It was. I cannot stress how unplayable it was, and yet we did. Right.
I played the Return of the Jedi game on an OG Game Boy. That was pretty bad too. Like, there are definitely like OG Game Boy. Great, important system for doing a lot to like set us on the path of portable gaming. Also, a lot of the games that came out on it, absolute crap.
Yeah.
Absolute crap.
I love a collection like this because I love when it's easy for multiple multiplayer games to be around. I've thrown parties before where I basically threw like a Mario Kart party where I had every system of every Mario Kart on different TVs, and I threw like tournaments based on them up through 8. And I don't know, this is now another way I can kind of do that, but with Mortal Kombat in a sense, and have it feel correct without like digging up a MAME cabinet or a Game Boy or anything like that. So I don't know. I love this. I love that. I liked that Tobias and Boone, I believe, like at the end of it, just showed them like walking up to the cabinet. I don't think that they actually. I don't know what their relationship is right now, but I know Boone is kind of the face of NetherRealm at this point, so it was just nice to see everybody. Anyway, yeah. I dug it.
Okay.
Also, oh, sorry.
No, that's good.
I was gonna say also, I don't have much to say about this, but another PSVR 2 game that I love that is sort of like coming back is Thief: Legacy of Shadows. Thief is a franchise that I loved the first one. I don't even know how many more they did, but I kind of fell off. This is the kind of thing that VR should. I think VR should be far less action-y games because it's harder to pull off that thing for an extended period of time. Even I think Half-Life Alyx learned that, like, you go long spances between action,
right?
Because just nonstop bombarding action will drain on you.
There's a reason that Pistol Whip tracks are as long as they are, and then you get like a break in between.
Yeah. Sneaking through a place and trying to steal something feels like a really great use of VR.
Yeah.
And so I don't have much else to say about it currently, other than I was glad to see it, and I look forward to checking that out.
Okay. Awesome. Another one that we were both on was Sword of the Sea. So it's from Giant Squid, which is not the same studio that made Journey. It's the same artist that did Journey. So the same artists did Journey and Abzu, both of which are absolutely in my category of games that are art and should be put in a gallery. Like they're an experience that's very approachable, that's obviously very beautiful, that is easy to like have anyone experience in a moving and beautiful way. And they also get that thing where like any individual screenshot is probably art, like a thing that you would frame and put on your wall, right? Okay, great. There's another game with the same artist, so I desire to know nothing else. Shut up and take my money. Shut up and take my money. They were like, hey, we have another game by the same person who made 2 of the most beautiful games you've ever seen. Great. Here's my money. Yeah. That's it. That's all. That's you. You
did it.
You save the money on advertising. Show me 10 seconds of the game. Tell me that piece of information. Take my money. Done. Problem solved.
Also, a thing again, just for me, just for specials for Matt. Astrobot announced that there was a bunch of other new stuff. They did a victory lap basically. Mm-hmm. Just more free levels. Just feels like a super class act for that game. I think there's a total of 96 planets now once it's all said and done, including like the Christmas special and a couple other things they did. So like, it's just really nice to see a regular, I think it was $60 game, just keep getting updates and keep seeing success. I have not finished Astrobot yet. I will 100% that game. I love that game so much. Cool. But it's just nice that that exists. You don't get a lot of that on the PlayStation side of things, so it was really nice to see them sort of showcase that. I'm trying to pull up the other one here, but it's messing with me. Another one I was psyched about, but it's one of those things because we bled through all of these so quickly, was Sea Remnants. And I have in my show notes, it's just Sea Remnants art style. And I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. Oh, right. This is like basically, I thought Sea Remnants was going to be, Sea of Remnants, pardon me. I thought it was going to be a Monkey Island. Like, I thought it was going to be something like Monkey Island or anything like that, because the art style from like when you pull back looked like like the character design and everything, but everyone looks almost like marionettes. I don't think they're supposed to be, but their faces are like angular and sort of shaded in certain ways. And it seems, I don't know, it seems super fun and like kind of like a fun adventure. Oh, actually, no, I take it back. They all are marionettes. Everyone is a wooden marionette. I'm seeing like them on hooks and their bodies have joints. I think that this game would be something that I could easily get lost in. Also, I really appreciated that every song they had in the game, in the trailer, they had the lyrics on screen. I just liked that a lot. And there's a giant, I think there's a giant ship battle where an octopus, a giant kraken, is using other ships as weapons.
Sick.
Which I was like, okay. Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. I think it is, it is a bit strange though. It is, I think it's a free-to-play RPG pirate theme game that doesn't seem to have gacha elements. So I don't know how it's gonna. I'm curious about its actual functionality.
I will also investigate this.
Yeah.
That. Yeah. I am very interested in more ways that we can make free-to-play games that are like non-predatory. Great.
Yeah. And then the last one, I think, if I'm not mistaken, at the PlayStation showcase, and please, everyone, call out yours if there's anything in PlayStation that you want us to chat about or look at in the live right now. In the grand scheme of fighting things, along with a PlayStation branded fighting stick, which if I was still into the scene, I would pick up in a heartbeat.
I thought that was actually a really big thing, was that like, because most fight sticks are not first party.
No.
They're like third party, like you buy them on Etsy. Like a hitbox or a fight stick, you're buying on Etsy, it's custom made, like, but PlayStation releasing one seems really cool.
Yeah. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, a 4v4 fighting game with Marvel characters that looks, at this point, immaculate. I actually watched a lot of the dev talks about this one, and they were saying, like, when they were, like 3 different companies came together to do this with Marvel. And I wasn't familiar with the team who does a bunch of other fighting games, more Japanese focused fighting games. But when they presented their designs to Marvel actually rejected them all and said, no. We want you to make your version of this game, not what you think we want us to see. And so that's when they came back, and like there's a redesign of Iron Man that looks very Gundam. There's like a lot of really cool choices in the way that the characters are portrayed, even down to the Kirby balls of energy, like with Doctor Doom's blasts and things. Like I am so pumped for this. I love Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I know there's a lot of who would have thought discourse out there about like, well, this kind of means Marvel vs. Capcom is sort of dead. And I could see that maybe, but also like, I don't know. I'm just psyched to get a different feeling,
right?
A different feeling Marvel fighter. 4v4 is also crazy.
Yeah, 4v4 is wild. That's so many permutations, right? Like every time, like so the math of different combinatorics for different teams you can fight against other different teams is wild. That's a lot of strategic density in addition to a lot of like the on-the-fly tactical density that like learning 4 characters is. Like you don't have a main, you have 4 characters you have to learn.
So here's the thing. They talk about this. They're like, we know that some people will love that. We know that some people will hate that. So there are 2 ways you can play this game. You can just have a main and have different, basically friends come in to do attacks and do different things. Like you're not learning the character, you're learning their tag
like the cameo system from combat.
Yeah. Or you can main 4 characters and you could tag in and out, which is, I think, really, really, really smart. Also, Tack, I completely agree. I wanted Infinite to be so good, and it was not, and I did not buy it. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this shapes up. Between this and between 2XKO, and I'm guessing Injustice 3 will probably be NetherRealm's next fighter.
That seems right.
I feel like 2026, 2027, or whatever is going to be for fighting games will be very, very, very good. Cool. I think, and also the fact that PlayStation was really hawking the fight stick says that they're actually double or tripling down on this.
Yep.
All right. Before we move on from PlayStation, Brad and Janet, is there anything that we missed that you were excited about?
For PlayStation, for State of Play directly, because I'm seeing a lot of people like, did you see X? Probably yes, but it's in a later part. We're trying to keep this by show, because otherwise we're going to ping pong around like someone gave a pixie stick to a gerbil and then covered in Monster Energy drink and let it loose, right? Like, it's not going to be pretty. Yeah. The Wu-Tang Clan game is not going to be is going to be an action brawler, but won't be a fighting game in the traditional like 2D digital chess sense of fighting game, but it will be a brawler. Neo 3.
Yeah, the Invincible game we'll talk about in Xbox.
Yep. Ghost of Yotei did look pretty cool. Good call, Kyrian.
Yeah. I would never. I wasn't like into that series, so I didn't clock it. But it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, I think, and that's the thing. We're not saying that things we didn't talk about are bad. We're saying that the things we didn't talk about didn't meet the bar for being high enough on our list to dedicate time during this precious 2 hours to.
Or stuff that we didn't already know. For instance, Onimusha. I've already said I'm going to be psyched for Way of the Sword. I think it's called Way of the Sword. Trailer looked cool. Looked exactly like kind of the last thing that I saw. So I was like, great. I got to keep moving.
Yep. Cool.
I think my surprise, if I had to pick my surprise from this, honestly, was either Romeo's a Dead Man or me being actually interested in a Digimon game.
Yeah. Yep. Totally agree. All right.
Should we move on to Summer Games Fest on June 6th?
Yeah. So there. Yes. Okay. There's a very interesting pairing that we should probably bring up at about this point, which is that Steam is deeply embedded in this weekend as well. Next Fest is coming up, and so a lot of these games are going to have demos. There's also, with the Future Games Show, and we'll talk more about this then, there's a special section for these games. So a lot of these, if you're interested in them, you can wishlist on Steam, and that really I started noticing because PlayStation doesn't care about Steam because it's PlayStation. With Summer Game Fest, it started ramping up more like the wishlist on Steam.
Yeah.
Remember to get this in your ecosystem sort of language started ramping up there. So that's where I'll mention that. Okay, first up, felt that boxing. What if Punch Out, but hear me out, Muppets.
And like Muppets.
Like not like digital Muppets, like Muppets. Muppets? If you have, and also great alliteration and wordplay, like perfect. No notes. Felt that boxing. Come on. I like Beat 'em Muppet. I like it.
Beat 'em Muppet.
Yeah, I like it. It's good.
I cannot wait to see how this turns out.
Mm-hmm.
Waldorf versus Statler. Yes, exactly. I don't know. This is one of those games, and there's what's the 1930s cartoon shooter? They had a bit of it in one of these showcases.
Cuphead?
It's not Cuphead. It's a first person shooter.
Oh, I know the one that you're talking about. I can't remember its name.
But it falls in the category with felt that boxing, where I'm curious of the technical aspect of how the game functions. It looks so like I'm amazed that you can make art styles do what they're doing, and it's really cool to see the boxes being stretched and broken in so many fun ways.
Yes, chat. The Rat Rubber Hose 1930s esque cartoon shooter.
Mouse PI.
Yeah, Mouse PI for hire. Yeah, the one that came out after there was definitely a legal ground for Disney to not sue them into oblivion because Steamboat Willie entered public domain.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, next up, Killer Inn. Killer Inn, I'm not a huge fan of social deduction games that give me anxiety because I'm already anxious that my friends are lying to me, so why would I play a game where I know some of my friends are lying to me? Doesn't do great things.
I don't understand why you would even think that. I just want you to know as I'm drinking this nice tall glass of orange juice that I would never lie to you.
Yeah, right. Recreational anxiety, not fun for me. But I do want to say that Killer Inn feels like a huge step up in the social deduction murder mystery sort of genre that got re-kickstarted by Among Us, and then later advanced into a bunch of the other like 3D spaces. It's evolved quite a bit very quickly. Killer Inn feels very much like the murder mystery thriller Clue version of that, with like weapons and classes and upgrades and levels and clues and like more sort of whodunit-esque elements. I think it looks really clean. I think it looks really good. I think we're going to see a bunch of streamers playing it, hopefully in a fun, good way when it comes out, even if it's not necessarily for me.
I bet you, I feel like, from what I know about your gaming proclivities, I feel like this is it's a chunk of a thing that you're interested in that you're not always comfortable with, but they've tacked on enough things where they're like, come on, Will. Yeah. Why don't you want to just come on? We're moving it a little bit more into your Venn diagram, and we'll see if it's enough of that.
Right. I mean, like, it's going to be hard because I just want to play Repo, right? Because Repo is what if idiots together, but also monsters. Great. Awesome. Amazing. No notes. Let's keep moving. You want to talk about mixtape, Matt?
Mixtape. It basically looks like a friend road trip game between three characters, all done. I know I'm like the art style guy at this point, but it's like it looks like the frame skipping from Into the Spider-Verse kind of style, but it's 90s and it's very skater. And as someone who was goth and definitely not a skate kid, I'm not good on a skateboard. I always am a bit like, I want to live this life. I wanted to, like, when I was a kid, I thought these kids were cool. And the soundtrack in this game, I want to see if I could find where they actually have it. And yeah, so it goes, let's see. So there is, in this game, they have Joy Division, Devo, Smashing Pumpkins, Iggy Pop, Portishead, Roxy Music, Silverchair, Lush, The Cure, Sue Song and the Banshees, Stan Bush, the Jesus and Mary's, I forget what that last one was. Hold on, Jesus and Mary's what? Mary Chains. It is just like immaculate vibes of this time period through and through. And I think a great thing about video games, and sometimes cinema, depending on what is done, is it lets you experience different parts of life that you may have looked at longingly in a space. I was not. So you said "See you later, boy." That's fair song, so I get it. No, it's just nice
I just wanted to highlight the fact that she typed that out like that.
I'm surprised all of our brains are still functioning, both songs and
yeah, right.
Yeah. But no, I just think there's something really special because you get to experience parts of life that you, in a smaller way, that you never got to. And time, as we all know, marches on. So it was just very cool to see it. It scratched an itch of something that I wanted to try very much.
Cool. Next up, we have Arc Raiders. Okay. People keep talking about Arc Raiders like it's going to be the next big thing. And I either forget it every time it comes up or have never heard about it, right? But they're like, it's the most anticipated game of 2020. And what is this? So it looks real interesting. It looks like it might not just be a AAA brown shooter.
But also maybe it is.
We don't know. it's definitely a thing to keep an eye on. It'll probably make a kind of a flashbang entrance when it comes in and then probably fade out is my guess, based on the fact that they're trying to make it a thing. There's a lot of trying to make Millhouse a meme, right, that's going on right now. I think with studios sort of having committed to a course long enough ago that the industry has moved off of that course, and now they're like, no, you have to come back. We made you a thing that would have been hot 2 years ago. No, come back. Enjoy our game. Right, that. So, yeah, it's an extraction shooter, kind of. Right. So that was just my my interesting note. I'm gonna go through some of. I
was gonna say just one real quick that I thought of. Mac, our audio editor for Extra History and Extra Credits, has been working on a video game for a while, and it was announced at Summer Games Fest. And that is Marvel's Deadpool VR. He was doing audio work for that, and I'm so happy that got announced and now is sort of out there in the open. I am looking forward to hearing all of Mac's work. Well, actually. I'll have to hear it vicariously because that is only, I believe, being released on a Meta. I will buy it instantly if it ever gets released to something else, but I won't give Zuck any money.
Yeah,
but I was proud that got announced because it looked very fun.
Yep. Chrono Odyssey was the next one that caught my eye. It's in their own words, a next generation action MMORPG. Okay.
Great.
Let's see what you got. The visuals look, okay. How do I put this? They look really clean. They look really good. They look reminiscent of so many things that we've also had recently that it feels like it's a little hard to differentiate it from a lot of the dark fantasy, Elden Ring's Dark Souls milieu that's sort of risen in the industry. So I don't know that it has a great visual identity, but the concept seems good and I'm willing to give it a shot. I'm definitely going to pay attention to it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up, Out of Words.
I think I missed this one. I'm gonna look it up.
I have a lot of these. If you notice,
oh yeah.
If you notice me looking over here, that's because I have these like brought up somewhere. Out of Words is a very interesting
co-op platformer, baby.
Co-op platformer. About two characters who lose the ability to speak, and it's all done in stop motion. Great. Cool. That's all I need to know. Like, and a lot of these, I think it's very important to remember, and this is kind of where I'm coming at this from. Right now, we're being pitched a high concept. If you dig the idea of a one-line high concept pitch for this, throw it on a wish list, see if it's any good later. Right? Yeah. But like, don't think too deeply or too hard about this, right? Because a lot of this is high concept pitches. Some of them, like Outer Worlds 2, or Outer Wilds 2, whichever outer it is, that got pitched for the 2 hour or for the hour after the Xbox thing. That is like a deeper dive and like a more like you should pay attention to this game deeply. But for a lot of things like Out of Words, just throw it on a wish list, see where it ends up.
Out of Words also, I believe, is actual stop motion.
Yes.
Which, again... insane. I love it.
Outer Worlds 2 is the anti-capitalism and space game by Obsidian that reminds you of Fallout New Vegas. Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you. Yes, correct. All right. Lego Voyagers. What if you played as an singular Lego brick that was sentient and had to go on an adventure?
Yeah, that was pretty nice. That was a nice surprise.
Great. You roll around, you click into stuff, you have to build things in order to go on your journey. Sometimes you and your friend who you are co-oping with will both be controlling parts of a larger construct and roll around together. It seems really solid. It seems kind of, it seems much more like focusing on Lego as Lego and less focusing on Lego as a delivery mechanism for other IP. Right? Because like we've had a lot of like Lego Star Wars, Lego Indiana Jones, Lego Lord of the Rings, Lego Marvel heroes, Lego Batman, Lego movie, right? Whatever. Right? This feels very much like Lego, the little bricks, not the minifigs, Lego for its own sake, which I think is really cool. Blah, 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 blah. There's gonna be a new Scott Pilgrim game.
Yeah. So I would be less excited about this if it wasn't from, I believe it's Tribute. Who made Shredder's Revenge and the upcoming Marvel comic or Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which looks very cool. They seem to understand the assignment. When I was watching the trailer for the Scott Pilgrim EX, I was like, doesn't this already exist? I know it's hard to get. I know that, I mean, and maybe my time is warped enough where I'm like, oh, it's just on the 360.
It re-released.
I know, we got it on the Switch, we played it.
Yeah.
But the, I was like, I was trying to figure out how this was different. And I don't know if it actually is. I mean, I'm sure it's a new game. And I think the thing that probably makes me want to check this one out is the fact that Tribute is involved. Like, everything else kind of looked similar to me.
I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say I don't care about the game or its gameplay quality at all. I care about the fact that they got the original composers together to do the soundtrack, because that album is going to slap incredibly hard, because the Scott Pilgrim the game soundtrack is phenomenal, and it's the same crew doing the soundtrack again, so I actually don't care about the game. Just give me the soundtrack.
Pick up the vinyl. Yeah, I don't know. It does look, you know, seeing screenshots weirdly makes it look more different than the other one than In Motion did. Mm-hmm. But I will check it out. I'm always down for more Scott Pilgrim.
Yep.
Yeah, and then finally, I think, oh no, you had one more Lego game, Will,
yeah,
right?
So there's a Lego party game. It looks like, and I will engage in a fair amount of like X but Y. It looks like somebody stuck an entire bucket of Lego in the Mario Party blender and mashed liquefy, and then poured it out into a Fall Guys mold.
Yeah.
Which, that's not a bad idea, actually.
I'll take it.
Right? You build your own minifigure, you get different parts to customize your minifigure as you play. Like, there are all kinds of Lego-themed mini games. Great. Like, I don't know that we need anything else, but I do think that we need more party games that aren't on the Switch. Right? Like a game like Mario Party with mini games like Mario Party that isn't Mario Party and isn't on the Switch. So I think for that, this is great. Right?
Yeah.
And then last, and we'll see if we can get through this just in time for our regularly scheduled ad break, is they did the sickest fake out for Resident Evil. That was really good. So about halfway through the show, they had a thing that was like, hey, this is a message from the voice actress who plays Lady Dimitrescu. This is a message from the producer of the Resident Evil series, thanking everyone for their support, and to please wait just a little longer for the announcement of the next Resident Evil game. They promise it'll be worth the wait. And then the show ends, or the show gets to the end, and they're like, all right, last thing. And you look at it, and you're like, wait.
I thought at first I thought it was Parasite Eve.
I thought it was something else too. I thought it might have been a new IP, and then all of a sudden they splash Resident Evil 9, and you're like, dirty so-and-sos.
Kudos to the titling of all the latest Resident Evils, because 8 was Village, right? And you could put the Roman numeral 8 in there. 7 had something clever with the numbering as well. This one is called Resident Evil Requiem, but REQ, or it kept flipping to RE9, and I was like, they're just playing with words now. It's just fun. What a great, that made me want to go back and finish 4 in VR and replay 8 again.
They also said that they're evolving it, that it will be much more, it will be less horror focused and more like action-y based, which I think is potentially good.
It's more actiony or less actiony?
I thought they had said more actiony.
I thought it said less, but maybe listen, I'm wrong. Side note, new guy, say more. Ashcroft is apparently one of the RE spin-off games. When I heard the name Ashcroft, that wasn't Code Veronica, was it?
Could have been.
I like Richard. Yeah. Richard, Resident Evil relocated. Relocated.
Outbreak, apparently.
Resident Evil Outbreak.
Yeah. Okay, so we have successfully made it through the two biggest.
Is there any at Summer Games Fest that we left out that you all were excited about?
I like Resident Evil X. Gonna give it to you.
Gonna give it to you. What?
Yeah. I think that these two were sort of the biggest. I will confess, I did watch part of Summer Game Fest at double speed just because some of the stuff like didn't like land with me. The side effect of that was when the Sonic trailer came out for the Sonic racing game. I was like, cool, great, it's a Sonic game, and it's a Sonic game at double speed, so I'm watching it very fast, right? And it's Sonic racing Hatsune Miku, and I was like, wait, what? And I had to go back and watch the whole thing again because my brain just shut off when it was like Sonic. Okay, I know what's happening. Hatsune Miku. What? It was great. Okay. Now it is time for a regularly scheduled 3 minutes of fake ads while you get some real ads here on Twitch. Don't worry, we're not going to talk about any other trailers or game stuff or whatever. We're going to do some fake ads for everybody while Twitch gets real ads, and then we'll come back and we'll do the other 3 showcases and our Switch 2 thoughts. It's going to be a speed run. Please look forward to it.
That's
Matt,
right.
Would you start us off?
Sure.
With an advertisement for something that you can't spend money on?
That's right. Hi, everyone. Matt from Extra Credits here. Say, would you like something that you can't spend money on, and would you like me to sell it to you? Well, then allow me to tell you what you can't buy, and that is all your time back after watching all of these damn showcases. There was a weekend. I promise you there was. Perhaps you'd like that time back, not because you didn't enjoy the shows, but because there was just too much information. You can even see 2 semi-professionals here, your internet dads, kind of having to go back and triple check their work as they talk about all the things, because our brains are so loaded full of games and hype that we can't actually correspond and give you enough correspondence to have it actually make sense. I'm breaking up right now. I haven't taken a breath in over 30 seconds, so please just try to buy your time back because you can't. Ooh. I blacked out. What happened?
You're good.
Oh,
You're
sweet.
Good. You're great. Yeah. Apparently ads may have shown early for some people. If they did, they're lying to us because the Twitch API that controls when ads fire says that there weren't ads firing. So, you know.
Will, I think we should be very careful because obviously Twitch and its parent company, Amazon.com, would never lie.
Or have a faulty system that governs how many ads fire and when.
No,
definitely not.
No.
That's definitely not part of the thing.
Antian, can I buy someone else's time? No, but you can rent it.
Isn't that love?
I don't know what you do on the weekends. I got nothing.
Okay. Anyway, I was thinking about Rent. Actually.
Oh, nice. Oh, you watch Rent on the weekends?
Yeah, obviously, and then cry a lot. Yeah.
All right. Are you ready, Will?
Yes.
All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's jam.
Hi, everyone. Will from Extra Credits here to sell you the concept of turning off the screen. That's right. After you have Clockwork Oranged yourself into an entire viewing marathon of all of these things, remember to look away from the screen. That's go outside, pet a cat, do another thing. I had to fully unplug for like an hour after I finished shotgunning 5 of these in a row. So I just curled up with a book. Consider, like, we love gaming. Just consider less of it, right? Like, you could do something else after you've ingested all of it. Like, if, you know, just consider don't.
That's good. That's good advice. I have one more piggybacking off that real quick.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Matt from Extra Credits here again. I just heard Will's non-advertisement for you to stop and get away from the screen, and it really got me interested because you're absolutely right. Like, there's a screen here, there's a screen here. I should leave and go do something else. On another screen. I'll go somewhere else. Wait, hold on. Why not just take all the screens everywhere? You don't have to be here. You have screens. I'm gonna put another screen in my pocket. I'll go everywhere we have to with all these screens, and then I'll never have to. I can stop looking at the screens I'm looking at right now. I bet you there's a screen in the other room. I'm gonna go check. Give me a second.
Yeah, chat, there are 5 screens on my desk right now as well. 4, no, more, because I have a screen on the camera and a screen on the camera.
So many screens.
Yeah, so many screens. Okay, cool. That is the end of ads.
I hope you learned to never buy another thing again.
Okay. We're gonna roll right back into some of these. Now, one of these, just one. I'm gonna take solo because Matt didn't have time to watch Wholesome Games, and I'm gonna do it pretty fast because it's less fun to just listen to me talk when Matt doesn't have input. Wholesome Games is, if you're going to watch one of these, and you want to watch one that isn't like the others, I highly encourage you to watch Wholesome Games Direct. Again, the link will be in the doc down in the description if you're watching later on YouTube.
Will, I have a pitch for you about how you talk about these games that you saw at Wholesome Games.
Yes.
I want you to pitch them to me.
Okay, great.
To get excited about.
All right, excellent. Okay, so first up, there's a game called Let's Build a Dungeon. Let's Build a Dungeon is a game where you build a game with your friends. So you can build an MMO with dungeons and towns and an economy and set adventurers out, and sort of like, it's an MMO fish tank, but you can build it with your friends, and there can be moments where like you and your friends decide what direction you want to take the fake MMO that you're running. And
sure.
It looks like a lot of fun, especially for our audience that's very into game design. I think it would be a really cool way to just hang out and like sort of get that game design itch out of your brain without needing to go through a whole jam, right? You just sit down with some friends and you're like, all right, we're going to poke this fish tank, right? Because I love fish tank games, right?
There's a game coming up on Future Game Show that sounds similar to this.
Yeah.
But that's cool. I like it.
All right. Next up, Let's Build a Dungeon, Tales of the Shire. Matt, do you want a cozy life sim, but in Bag End?
Yeah.
That's it. That's the pitch. It's a cozy life sim where you're a hobbit. It's probably my favorite take on, like, hey, you know, Lord of the Rings is like the most action-y part of life in Middle-earth, right? Like, this is it. This is like the big turning point, but like life goes on, and I like that they're sort of embracing this sort of Shire as part of it.
Yeah.
I think it's okay, cool.
I feel like, just on that note, if you were going to try to get me to play a cozy sort of anything outside of Stardew Valley, I feel like doing it in the Shire is probably the way to get me in the door.
Yep. Linked, Battle of the Spark. So Linked is a co-op.
Lynked, because when you say link or linked,
yeah,
that brings a lot of different.
It's a co-op roguelite town management sort of solar punk-ish game where like there's a lot of very clean tech. It's very like solar punky tech that's like helping grow better crops and stuff like that. And you it's got a lot of roguelike elements. It sort of has it has earned my interest and is beginning to earn my ire for being the game that shows up at the most of these without any substantial new news, right? Linked showed up last year at all of this, and I'm like, okay, great, you're on my wish list, and it didn't feel like it had progressed a lot. It may have progressed significantly, but it didn't feel that way delivered to me.
The presentation didn't give you the new info smell.
Correct, yeah. And so I really just want them to come out with the game already. Please and thank you. All Will Rise is a very interesting game. The entire game is card-based social interaction. You're managing a team to solve mysteries or to do social interactions in a larger like city, and you've got the Kaiser Soze board, right, with the red string and the pins and the everything. And it looks very interesting, and I am always a big sucker for different ways to do social interactions as game mechanics, right? One of my biggest criticisms of D&D historically has been that there aren't enough mechanics to handle doing social interactions that you don't come up with off the top of your head. Your character only has so many ways to contribute to social interactions, and I like this. I liked Griftlands for it as well, that there's a complex mechanic for navigating social situations as a character who is different than you. And I think that it's worth looking at for that.
Nice.
And then the last one. I'm so normal about this game, Matt. I'm so normal about this game. This game is called Discounty. Matt, imagine if you were playing Stardew Valley.
Okay.
Except instead of running a farm, you were a shopkeeper.
Okay.
And the shop you were running was Joja Mart.
Okay.
And then everything started going just a little bit wrong.
Right.
And it turns into, I am very much looking forward to it because it looks like it has a complete shopkeeper game experience, which is a thing that I've been looking for, right? I've never had that itch scratched. Like, it's been a interest of mine for a long time. And also, it's got a lot of subversion in it, right? Like, it starts out with all of the advertisements do a really great job of telling you that there's going to be a turn. Right? They're like, hey, here's the thing. You got to do this. Why is that thing not the way it should be? Don't worry. Okay.
It does look like, I'm just looking at it right now. It looks very cool. I think it might be a PlayStation exclusive for now.
It should be August 21st on Steam.
Is it? It says PS5, PS4 in the trailer. Maybe there's a different trailer. Yeah, this feels like a game that wouldn't just be...
Correct. Yeah, Discounty has a page on Steam, demo available now.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay, different one. For whatever reason, the trailer I saw just had PlayStation. I was like,
yeah. So
this does not feel like an exclusive.
So if you're looking forward to that, based on my pitch for capitalism but gone wrong, August 21st it releases. It's going to be on stream. I will play it on stream. I'm super looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great. I'm so hyped. For like this weird little fun shopkeeper game that also is a biting critique of capitalism. Imagine that when they make my Blorbos Kiss, I get excited.
I think it looks very cool, very up your alley.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
So again,
I'm sorry I didn't get to see Wholesome games.
Yeah. The other
did anyone in Brad or Janet anything in Wholesome games that really got you excited?
The other thing I really love about Wholesome Games is that it's not hosted by one person. It's hosted by wholesome, cozy streamers, which I think is a really great way to uplift them. And they've also got fundraising for different charitable causes every year. Again, if you're going to watch one and you don't want to watch a big stage production direct, watch Wholesome Games Direct. I really think that it is the one of these that stands out to me as significantly different than the industry norm in a good way.
Yeah. Then we become, I guess, unless is there anything more Little Kitty in the City? Richard says, did that happen in Cozy, Will?
Yes, you can design your cat now.
Oh, hell yeah. Is that just an update?
I believe so. Also, I think your Discord pings are coming through.
Are they? That's probably correct. I'll just mute everything over here.
Yeah, Kitty in the City, but now can be York City. Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. I knew we'd forgotten one. Larky, I will tell you, I didn't have time for LATAM and SEA showcases. Those existed, and those are other things you should check out. And I ran out of time on this, and brain space, unfortunately. So, yeah, everyone should also check those out, and I probably will after this. All right.
Future Game Show. So, real quick about Future Game Show. I love that they had Matt and Laura host it. I think that's great. I wish it was like, I don't know. I would have rather they shot that at like the Critical Role Studios on a silly backdrop than the big
green screen thing.
I can't remember. It felt like the kind of tech they used for Mandalorian to like make it, but only this time it's like a stage space. Like when it pulled to the wide of it, you saw like silhouettes of audience, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
It's not Matt and Laura's fault, of course. I would rather, if you're going to get some of the two most charismatic people in gaming on your show, don't limit them to the format that you have to lean on for when your hosts aren't as charismatic as them. Correct. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like don't make it the PC gamer show.
Let them borrow the Weird Kids set from Taliesin and Ashley, and let them just sit there and talk to you about these video games. Yeah. Like I would have been so much more engrossed. I don't know. I really wish that happened.
Matt Mercer, known for that one role in Final Fantasy, and nothing else.
Nothing else.
Nothing else. Just as
listen,
Vincent in Final Fantasy VII remake.
Let's talk about this for a second. So perhaps they wanted to talk specifically about like their largest video game thing, like, because if you don't watch Critical Role, maybe you don't know who these people are, and they're maybe trying to get outside of the critter community for that. Anyway, I was like, I wish that this was produced differently. But with all that said, lots of really, really cool games announced here. My first one is Whispers in the Fog. Solo game dev. It's basically a mystery horror game, first person, and it's just like the most immaculate spooky woods vibes. It felt like roaming, the New England woods at night, which I used to do. And you find sometimes scarier things than you should talk about on morning breakfast shows about video games. And it just gave me a lot of that feeling. I'm impressed with any video game, but when something, I know you guys have talked about this in Design Club, Will, but like the game dev right now is in such a different spot than even when we started here. Mm-hmm. Like, it is possible
say words.
Check.
Okay.
What happened?
Clean Feed changed my audio output for you for no reason.
Fun. So could no one hear me?
Yeah, correct. Just for like a hot second, no one could. I could hear you, but they couldn't. So back up to the start of that thought. Try again.
Where Whisper in the Fog. Did you hear me mention the name of the game that I was excited about? Yes. Whispers in the Fog.
Yes, and spooky New England vibes and wandering around and finding darker things than you think is possible.
Yeah, because I used to roam around the New England woods, and I won't talk about the things that I found while I was there. Anyway, I'm just very impressed. I know that in you've talked about this on Design Club, but the ability for a solo dev to make something that looks and feels like Whispers in the Fog today is phenomenal. Like, the fact that can be done is fascinating to me. And I know, like, there's different asset things you can buy, and why buy a save system or something when you could just, if you want to not build your own, why build your own when you could buy it, etc. So I don't know. I was very, very excited for this. If you haven't checked out the trailer yet, I urge you to. I'm sorry that my audio went away. I'm sorry the woods tried to silence me.
That's fine. My big one was The Expanse, Osiris Reborn. I'm not a big Expanse person. I feel like I'm good on cyberpunk colonialist politics for reasons which escape me entirely. Just as a reminder, if you watch this later, this is being shot the 9th of June, 2025. Just for no particular reason. So it's never really grabbed me, but God, if that trailer didn't sell me on the whole concept of The Expanse and the game in moments. That trailer was immaculate for The Expanse, Osiris Reborn. I think it does a phenomenal job of selling it as different than other sci-fi. Like, Expanse is a very specific and unique sci-fi aesthetic and genre, and it sells it all the way through to the hilt immediately.
Yeah.
In the trailer, and I loved it. I thought that was one of the better trailers I saw all weekend. Yeah.
No, agreed.
Yeah.
One that we both had on our list coming up after this was Sleep Awake.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play it because I like sleeping. But
I'll play this. I'll play this on stream in a heartbeat.
Sure, right.
Psychological horror game from Blumhouse, the film production company traditionally. And it's created by Corey Davis from Spec Ops: The Line and Nine Inch Nails' Robin Finnick.
So it has all of the right people working on it, right?
It looks like fire.
Yeah.
It looks like what if the Stanley Parable grabbed the hand from Talk to Me.
Mm-hmm. That seems right.
And I am here for, there's a Somnambulic Institute. It's basically about the point between sleep and death. Yup. I'll take it.
Yeah, it looks phenomenally like if you would like to experience the reality whether or not you want to, it looks like the right game. And again, it looks like it's got the right people on it, right? Anyone who was a major force in Spec Ops The Line,
yeah,
cool. You're allowed to mess with my brain. Just go for it. Just rummage around.
My only complaint, and this is not a real one, is that it will be coming in 2026. I was really hoping this would be out in time for Halloween. I don't want them to rush. I want them to have it be done when it is done. Yeah. I was just like, ooh, Halloween. I was like, oh,
Bloomhouse is pretty good about that too.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, not Sleep Away, Constance. Okay, the pitch for Constance is very simple. What if Hollow Knight and Celeste had a baby? Yeah. That's the pitch. Like, I know it doesn't look like it, but I promise you that's the pitch for Constance. It's a Metroidvania that takes place in your inner world. Use a paintbrush and art to like process your feelings, but it has very Hollow Knight style combat. Like, they show the main character doing the Hollow Knight pogo thing to solve puzzles. Very Hollow Knight combat. Also has very big Celeste vibes. I desire to know no more. Shut up, take my money.
Yeah. Next up for me was the one that sounded a lot like your game from Let's Build the Dungeon, but from the opposite angle.
Yeah.
And that is the Bureau of Fantastical and Arcane Affairs.
Uh-huh.
Where you play essentially someone who's going to inspect the evil doers' dungeons to make sure it's up to code for adventurers to come to.
Uh-huh. That's correct.
It's not to make sure it's safe or deadly. It's to make sure that the story is good.
Yes.
What a cool sideways vibe for a video game. Like, take bureaucracy and make it fun and silly.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to play that game. It sounds like a dungeon master's kind of dream. Mm-hmm. Like, it just feels joyful to be able to do something like that.
Yeah.
Hi, Jamie.
Hey.
What's up?
Nothing.
Oh, you coming to? Wait.
Just a little bit of
do you want this? Is that what you got to reach into the screen to get it though? No, you can have the rest actually if you want. Yeah, I'm done. Okay. Take the rest.
Hey, Will.
All right. And last up, but by no means least, a very special shout out to a game that got its big announcement here on Future Game Show.
I knew this was coming for a little bit, just because I was talking with this person at PAX. I didn't know any real details, just that they had dove from their tabletop origins into video game design and writing. And our friend Jasmine Boulard, aka That Bronze Girl, is releasing a game who she is working on called Fading Echo. And if you have not looked at Fading Echo, I believe as far as voice talent, I think she might be in it too. Also, the actress for Karlak and Matt and Laura are also in it, I believe, if the trailer is to be believed. It looks, I wrote down, what if Prince of Persia / Splatoon and Hades had a baby?
Yeah.
It looks so cool. I love the look of this. I love the serious tone mixed into, you're basically play this like badass woman in like, she has some sort of like staff or glaive, but like she can also turn into a little blorb of liquid, and like you can do things with that liquid as you move around. It looks, there's also like, I think like a negative world or zone sort of in it because it glitches it sometimes and it becomes a negative representation of what, I don't know. I cannot wait to play this, to pick Jasmine's brain about it more. I think we should have her on breakfast at some point to talk about it when it's coming out, when it's hitting in the near future, because you know what, Ian? You know, maybe Alex Mack there, maybe there's a little Alex Mack in there. It looked so flippin' fun. So happy that this got announced this weekend, and congratulations, Jasmine. That's awesome. Yeah.
Excellent.
I think that's everything on Future Game Show.
Excellent. Which means that we are on to the last showcase, the Xbox Game Showcase. First up, and most importantly, Matt was correct. Matt was correct. They debuted the ROG Xbox Ally.
Great name, by the way. Like it. You understand exactly what it is. This is not a produced by Xbox piece of hardware. However, it works seamlessly with Xbox.
And has an Xbox
Ally.
button. Yeah, it has an Xbox button. So that's really cool. It looks like it's a really solid piece of hardware. It looks like in the same category as the Steam Deck. No comments on the hardware. I would now like a soapbox to air a grievance. I would like to air a grievance. Matt, they used like 2 minutes of new Silksong footage to show off games on the Ally, which, by the way, is a terrible choice because you don't need to. Silksong will run on like a coffee maker by the time it's out, right? Okay, so they used like 2 minutes of brand new Silksong footage, and they had pictures of Silksong in the background. They didn't give us a release date, Matt. They told us it'd be out when the Ally was out, but they didn't give us a release date.
There's a shot that I knew Will would be losing his goddamn mind about. Because like the trailer for the Ally looks cool, right? Like it's someone holding a clear piece of plastic and then they like mold it into the shape of the thing and the buttons come out. And you know, you can only show off 3D renderings of a piece of plastic in so many different ways. And I thought this was a creative way to go about doing it again. But there's a spot when they're like, we've seen Silk Sonic a couple times on it already, but there's a shot where basically, if this is the thing, where the camera like zooms across it.
Yep.
Like, and so there's a long shot of Silk Song, but it's like on the plane of your eye, and I was like, Will hates this.
I do. I hate it. No, and yes, chat's correct. They did further confirm that Silksong will be out this year, but that's the only info we got on Silksong, despite the amount of and the only reason Silksong is coming up is because they put it there, right? It is confirmed that it will be out this year, and it will be out when the ROG Ally releases. It will be a launch title available when the Ally releases. It's not launching with it, but it will be available by the time that comes out. So when we get a release date for that, we'll know before when.
Is out of the box, this can do both Game Pass, Xboxy stuff, and Steam. Is basically what it's pitching.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hardware notwithstanding, this seems like the direction that Xbox was headed. I mean, again, we've been kind of calling this for a bit. I don't know. Everyone, Brad, Janet, Rocky, are you particularly excited for this, for the direction that Xbox goes? Are there dedicated Xbox players actually here, either through Game Pass on your PC or that own the actual hardware? Like, is there a world where you'd get something like this? Again, assuming that the hardware is on par with the Steam Deck, right? Like, yeah, Zariah, apparently it does Steam. Okay, Zip says the Ally S, the Steam version's more exciting. Coffee has a Series X. It is an Xbox flavored Ally with it built in, right? Like it you can either stream your games via the cloud or download them and play them natively. Braston, Windows game mode. We'll see how much Windows cruft overhead it shuts down. Yeah. Wow, Jaya. Come on. People like it. There are Xbox fans.
Yeah.
I don't know any.
Yep. Silksong is before Christmas, yes.
Oh, interesting. Joseph, it gives me a reason to sell my PS5. So, like, what I would like, what about it? Like, I'm curious.
Yeah.
Because a PS5 for me outside of the Portal, which I can't believe I still really like. Like, do you feel like this could be your like one-stop gaming shop, basically? Like, is that the? Yeah.
While chat's chiming in, Matt, that was as much of the Xbox showcase as you got to, essentially.
I didn't get to see Outer Wilds 2. I ran out of time.
Yeah.
I know that there was a Call of Duty thing, but like there's one every year, so I didn't care.
No, it was the last trailer and it stunk. It was the last trailer, was not clear it was a Call of Duty trailer, was something completely different. And they were like, and it's Blop 7. And we were like, okay, I hate you. Because they had teased Fable and they led with a butterfly. They had a red butterfly fly in, and we were like, is this Fable? What is this? And then they were like, it's Blops. And we were like, I hate you. Yeah. The internet was not happy about that one.
Okay. All right, Joseph, that makes sense. It's all user case. I was just curious. That does clarify a little bit.
Yeah. So I'll go through a couple of ones that I thought were good, and then we'll get to our Switch 2 thoughts. Clockwork Revolution is what if BioShock Infinite had a sequel? Kind of. It's got a lot of that very clockwork punk sort of, not quite steampunk, but like clockwork punk aesthetic. It's also got time travel in it. It's got a lot of, it's one of those, but there are no politics in my video games in that, like, it's about changing time to change people's minds about like kings and empires, and it looks really good, and I'm really excited for it. There are no ghosts at the Grand. If you have ever played Power Wash Simulator, but wish it was also a mystery, there are no ghosts at the Grand. Seems like the right thing. You are in charge of revitalizing a hotel in a small British village, it looks like, and you have a variety of very powerful tools to do so quasi-magically, and there is also a mystery. And so it looks really good.
Nice.
It looks really good.
Hell yeah. Yuri just said something. I want to jump in, unless this was one of yours, Will. I don't see it on here.
I did not have At Fate's End.
I just watched it in the background. At Fate's End does look dope. It's from the people who made Spiritfarer, but it's a more like sort of
I have no idea how
thing.
Yes. Yeah, it did look dope. I have no idea why it didn't make the list, probably because my brain shut off at some point and I stopped typing.
Thank you, Yuri. Yeah, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That looks awesome.
Yep. Beasts of Reincarnation looks like, and I mean this in the best way possible, someone slapped Princess Mononoke and the themes of Princess Mononoke into Unreal Engine and said go. And I mean that in the best possible way, right? I think a lot of people forget that Ghibli is like, has a deep, abiding stance on like the relationship between humans and nature and technological overreach and over-industrialization and war, and like they have a deep stance on that. And I think a lot of people forget it because they're like, it's cute. No, it's really, so I think it's going to be really good. It gives me those vibes in a very positive way.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then last, but certainly not least, is Outer Wilds 2, which I will watch the full thing on because I am excited for it.
It's the same. Hey, do you hate capitalism and love space? Play Outer Wilds. Like, that's the pitch. If you hate capitalism and love space, play Outer Wilds. It looks like they've done a really good job. They also, the Direct had the best. We know this is a sequel. We're going to make fun of people overhyping sequels while we overhype our sequel bit in it. Like, they're very self-aware. It's very good. It was very well done. It was the only...
Oh, and I said Outer Wilds, not Outer Worlds, as people are correcting me. It's been a long list.
Yeah. Listen, also, they totally have the Illusionist Prestige thing going on, where, like, they're two games with similar themes with very similar names. All right, anyway. Okay, cool. That's it for showcases, and we did it all in only 90 minutes. Oh, my God.
Yay!
Matt. We got Switch 2s. Dab.
We got Switch 2s. Dab, yeah. Will and I worked really hard to nail ours down. And by that, I mean on the day of launch, which I tried getting pre-orders for far too long from too many places. And then I woke up and I was like, you know what? I have a Costco membership. I'll just see if they have them on sale on the website. And they did.
And then I called up my parents and I was like, hey, you guys have a Costco membership. Can you order me this thing?
And then they just delivered it. I was shocked, especially with, I mean, there's tons of scalper stuff going on right now, and I hope that the fact that it seems as though in like side places where you don't expect to buy video game consoles, there seems to be an okay supply.
Yep.
And I'm hoping that scalpers get their lunch eaten out from under them, because F them. I hope they have to sell them under street price to actually make their money back. I don't know. Yeah, I did. Yeah, Amp, exactly. I got the Kirkland. Both Will and I did get the Kirkland Switch 2s.
That's right. Yeah. So Thunder asking the real questions. There were two big pieces of news in the Switch 2 launch day news. Number one, I'm sorry to anyone who got a Switch from GameStop, at least the one in Staten Island. So the Switch box is not very robust.
It's brutal.
And in order to, I don't really fully agree with the rationale here, but I guess I can kind of understand. In order to make sure that every Switch 2 that made it out the door of a GameStop had been purchased, they stapled the receipts to the box. But the problem is that the box is very thin, and the topmost item under the lid of the box is the unprotected main body of the Switch 2, which means that everyone who got their receipts stapled to their box had a staple in their screen, which dinged up their screen. They still worked. I didn't see any spider webbing, but there were
you have holes in your screen.
Definite, obvious holes in the screen of your brand new Switch 2 because a GameStop employee stapled a receipt to it. So that was not great.
No.
It was not great.
Look, okay, to be fair, because so many people, you shouldn't staple anything to a box of an electronic. That just seems insane. You don't know how it's packaged. Every piece of major tech right now, an iPhone, a couple of stuff, granted, I think there's a little more space, but the screen is always up. Companies are looking for that, you see the thing when you open the box. The problem is, in the Switch's case, the cardboard is just one thin layer of cardboard. There's not a plastic thing where it's lower. It's just flat against that one piece of cardboard. You have your plastic bag, the Switch is in. Do you have it?
Keep talking.
Yeah, it's a little bit crazy. You could easily lower it.
Yeah, I have my box. Hold on.
Yeah. Because I couldn't believe, I get what you're going for. And also, Crown, I believe they're giving replacements. Hopefully there's enough to do that, because that's insane.
So
yeah.
So you open it, and then it's right there. Obviously, it wouldn't be on, but it's
but
right
look
here.
How it's right to the top.
It's right, and it's just in a plastic bag. It's not in anything else.
Yeah. Insane. I feel so bad for those people. But I know that it's getting taken care of, but still, that's a real bummer move. On the other hand, Walmart, of all places, did something kind of classy. And again, I know there's probably a deep-seated corporate reasoning why it happened, but I like it.
Yeah.
That is, with every Switch pre-order that they got sent, they also sent out a can of Pringles and a Coca-Cola of various varieties. Just for funsies.
Yeah. And it turns out the price of the Coke and the Pringles wholesale is way cheaper than the good marketing they received. Other companies should take notes on this. The amount, Walmart is not a good company. Walmart is owned by a very wealthy family and does a lot of really scummy things to hurt the economies of small towns throughout the United States, particularly in very poor communities in the Midwest and the West. Right? Let me be very clear. Walmart is a terrible company. And the amount of free positive publicity they got out of, the amount of positive
free to their bottom line,
right,
truly.
Yeah, that they got out of including 2 items with every thing that grand total cost under $2 is incredible, right? Other companies should take notes from this.
Captain got a Sprite.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, right. It is, right. So it is, fascinating that those 2 stories have been the major dominating thing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I hate praising Walmart, and
I do
it's
too.
funny because it's not, in a way. Let's get mad about the good thing. They could learn the lesson here and obfuscate more of their BS with more small acts of good marketing.
Right.
I kind of hope they don't realize it. I love that it happened.
Yeah.
Or there's a miscalculation, and due to tariffs, Pringles are now 200 things a can and it bankrupts Walmart. Either way, I'll take either one.
Yeah, either one of those would be fine with me.
It would take a lot more than a $200 can of Pringles on every Switch thing to bankrupt Walmart. But you get my drift.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we both got our Switches. I got mine Friday. Mac, you got yours yesterday?
Yesterday. It sucked. I was out of town, and then basically my buzzer to my apartment doesn't always work. And they rang, and then they went away, even though Jamie was home. And then it got locked up. Basically, there's a drop-off point at like a bodega nearby. And so I got home on Saturday night, and I was like, "Oh, they're open till 8. Great!" And I went. It was 6 o'clock when the shutters are down, and I was like, "No!" So I went in the morning. It was fine. But yeah,
we both had pretty similar setup experiences. You do have to connect it to Wi-Fi and let it patch before you do anything else.
Yeah, don't know what that is. Has that been confirmed? What that actually does?
That is the day one software update, which lets it function. So you have to do that before the Switch is really functional, which isn't great. That's not great.
It's not great. Let's do.
We can also stipulate that that's not great. We have deeper thoughts on it, and I'm going to talk about it with Jeff on Thursday in Design Club, because like I have complicated feelings about that, and I don't want to spend the rest of our time like going through the way I feel about that. Maybe.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I want to talk about for a second. I do not like the functionality as it exists to be able to tell a piece of hardware that you are buying that it should work or not work. This is not new to technology. This is new to consoles, I think, particularly, though the ability to do so probably isn't either. Like, as soon as you are able to patch a system's firmware, a company could choose to brick whatever they want to brick.
Yes.
I understand the drive to not have people run their Switches if it breaks street date. At the same time, that feels like a move of someone who is unsure of their product.
Especially because they didn't release review copies.
Yeah.
There were no reviews before people began getting the Switches they'd ordered. Nintendo sent out 0, to the best of my knowledge, pre-release copies to review outlets.
So, like, I understand you want to have a tight-knit media package and you want the dates to be the dates and all that stuff, but if you're confident in your product and it's the difference of like the delivery between a store selling it or not, like someone could get a scoop, sure, but all that scoop would do is generate more hype and buzz for your product that you believe in. And again, we're going to get into it. I'm fairly happy. Spoiler alert, I'll go into the pros and cons of it so far. But I don't know. It felt like an unnecessary move.
Yeah.
Even if it had the ability to do it. Like, because there'd been rumors that they needed to do it or they can brick it whenever they want or blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, that's not new.
Yeah. It just feels like you're kind of drawing attention to the part that doesn't need attention drawn to it for any reason.
Yeah.
Again, we are assuming that the day one patch is what this did. It feels like it would be. It could also have stability adjustments and things that they wanted to get in before they shipped because you think about it, these machines were packaged months ago, right before they get to us. And they might have noticed something in their internal testing.
Right. And people are suggesting correctly that later versions of this will potentially ship with a different built-in version of the OS so that they don't need this. And that's true, but now you're going to have to check the box and see which batch it's from and blah. It's unnecessary. Right. So like that is if inability to connect to Wi-Fi is a deal breaker for you, then The Switch 2 is not a product which is currently viable for your purchase, right? That is a true thing. Also, so open it, update it, system transfer. I ran into a weird thing. This is really weird. Both consoles, both the Switch and the Switch 2, are incredibly picky about what charger you use while you're doing system transfer. If you're not using the charger that came in the box, there is a decent chance that it just won't call it a charger and won't recognize it, which is really weird and kind of frustrating because I have USB-C chargers that charge the Switch plenty well, but it wouldn't recognize that it was a charger until I plugged in the one that came in the box, even though the voltage was fine, right? Even though the specs on the actual plug were fine, it wouldn't recognize it was really it until I plugged in the included charger. So that's weird.
I think that's just a safety precaution to make sure that you don't run out of juice and eventually partially brick your system.
Yeah.
Like during an update or something like that.
Especially because you only get one chance to system transfer. There is no way to go back to system transfer after you have declined it or done a partial one. If you were doing a system transfer from a Switch 1, you only get one shot.
Yeah.
One. And then after that, you can transfer individual things, but you don't get to do the full system transfer wizard like you did at the beginning without factory resetting your Switch 2, which is bad. That's another not great thing. So that took about 30 minutes-ish for me. A little more, a little less, somewhere in there. And then all of your old Switch accessories work. I paired my Switch Pro, my Switch 1 Pro controller pretty easily, but you do plug it in. You can't wirelessly pair it, which is weird. Right. You have to plug it in. Mercifully, at that point, you're done with the charger, so you just plug it into the same port that you charged out of, and it works. But that was weird. But pairing my old Joy-Cons worked fine. And I paired up my old Pro and my old Joy-Cons, and I used the new Joy-Cons, and my roommates and I sat down and played some couch Mario Kart World. And that was about 30, 45 minutes of setup and downloads and stuff.
Yeah, like with going back to the AC adapter thing, it's just specifically for the transfers.
Correct.
Like I have yet to try it, but the reports are you can use any camera peripheral you want. I believe you can use any mouse you want with the Switch 2.
Yes.
Going back a little bit to someone said something. I was a little bit distracted. Who said it? Was it Zariah? Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, here we go. I feel like we bullied Microsoft for less when they announced awful features for the Xbox One and they removed the terrible ideas. It's funny. I think I'm trying to remember. Zariah, say more about that, because like that was like the not game sharing stuff, I believe, right? Like everything was locked.
Yeah.
And the thing about Nintendo that's so crazy is it seems like they either make something front and center that other companies obfuscate, or they try to make whatever the bad thing seem like a feature publicly that other companies try to obfuscate.
Yep.
And I don't understand either methodology there. It seems very silly. The majority, this is what sucks, because there's a lot of anti-consumer stuff going on in that department. The majority of people who get this thing won't care.
Yep.
It's kind of a backward slide into like knowing what you're paying for, knowing your rights, knowing what you can and can't do, etc. But companies,
Yeah.
I never understand Nintendo's publicity and methodology behind it.
Yeah.
You know?
And I want to be clear, I'm not giving Nintendo a pass for this, right? Like part of our job, right? And part of my thinking in getting this was people had questions. I am a person who understands how to get answers to those questions, and I'm in a position to acquire Switch 2 and answer your questions about it. We're going to do a Mario Kart stream later that's going to be 50% Mario Kart and 50% me answering your questions about the Switch 2. Right? So, like, do keep that in mind. I'm not giving Nintendo, like, a free pass on some really terrible things, like it not functioning out of the box. That's a problem. It should function out of the box, right? I want to be very clear about that. Yes, today after this.
Yep.
Because we're already running along in this. But that's...
I got an extension. I slipped some meetings so we
Thanks.
can keep chatting for a little bit.
Yeah. One thing that they are doing that they did on the Switch 2 or on the Switch 1 for a while, but I noticed on the Switch 2 because it helped the setup experience, was there is a QR code setup method where you can scan a QR code that it displays on the screen to do all of your input of username, password stuff from your
Account
phone,
information,
and then do a confirmation code back to the Switch to make sure that you're all on the up and up. And I thought that was a pretty slick way to do it for setup and things like that. I thought that was good.
From a hardware perspective, after holding it and knowing sort of how it functions, the Joy-Cons on this are infinitely better and feel more connected to the actual device. There's a button, I'm sure you might have seen it in the promo stuff, but there's a button like right here, and you push that in, and it's a little pin. I don't know if you can kind of see it pop in and out. The blue is hard.
Yeah.
And that pushes the magnet off. But the second that it actually has like weight to it, and it feels like it, I don't know if you like on the original Switch, which my other one's in the other room, it always felt like the slide rail kind of like hiccuped up like a 1/16 of an inch, and there's absolutely none of that here. I also thought that the kickstand looked flimsy as hell. It doesn't seem to be. It has good resistance. I can pull from the middle, and it doesn't actually, it is a piece of, it feels like a piece of metal, and it actually can sit about that big if you want to have it down like that.
Yep.
It also covers where your, what's it called? Your memory card, if you want.
That's not new. They've used that. They used that trick last time as well. Also, someone mentioned that micro SDs don't work. Correct. Micro SD Express or nothing. Mine is coming in the mail in a bit.
I want to talk a little bit, real quick, about this stupid thing.
Why does that thing exist? Oh, to prevent them from getting sued for people winging their Wiimotes at television.
Well, okay, there's two reasons. It's two reasons. One, for the mouse. And you do actually put it, you know, the right direction. Either one works. You snap it in sort of a similar way, right? And that way you have a thing to scroll with, like to be on a mouse. This feels too long.
I mean,
not getting my screen, but it's coming close. Like every other attachment for a VR thing or something like that, it does keep the controller, like, I think a little bit closer to here. Yeah. When I saw the length of the cord, I was like, I guess. I don't know.
Yep. Oh, the dock. Dock also needs more power than usual. So again, you need to use the included USB charger, but you can swap out the cable in a lot of cases. I have mine swapped out for a much longer one so I can stay on my desk.
Bad thing about the dock. Well, it's not a... Talking about cables and using specific cables.
That the flap on the back.
Well, kind of. So I don't have my dock in here, but the case of it pops off kind of like the Switch OLED did. And actually, I think the original Switch does too, but each one felt a little different. Where the plugs are on the back, the HDMI, I believe, is above the power, so it's in the middle, but the hole out where the cables run is lower.
Yeah.
So your HDMI cable kind of does that. Now, I had another cable with a stronger neck between the actual connector of the cable and the cable that ran to my receiver. When I plugged it in, I could already feel it putting like too much pressure on the actual connector because the cable wouldn't bend. So I took that off my receiver and I used the one that came with the Switch, which does have more of a wiggle. Like they planned for it, but if you're going to be using a specific kind of higher end HDMI cable, I could see that being a bit of a problem if you're going to have the plate of the Switch 2 on the back of it. That was just like a small...
Yeah.
I was like, why didn't they just put that thing in the middle?
Yeah, it also doesn't stay on terribly well. right? It's like
Oh, you have it. Yeah. Raise it up a little bit because it's blocked if you're good.
Yeah. So it doesn't stay on terribly well.
One more high. Sorry.
I'm working. It's tied into things
I wanted to show where the actual export for the cables was.
Yeah.
Like,
So this it's pretty flimsy. Like it doesn't really stay on all of that well, right?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of ambivalent on whether or not I care about having the back plate on, but it is kind of weird that bit in particular feels crap. Also, it takes a bit of work to get it back in because you have to route the cables first and then put the plate in above them, and that's annoying. So the dock, not impressed. So far, not impressed.
I don't know. Apparently, there's a fan in it.
There is. It's very quiet.
Okay, that's good because I never heard it go on.
Because it does get warm. Like it does get warm whether you're using it in handheld or.
When I was re-downloading all of the games, oh boy, did that thing cook.
Yeah.
So the fan was, I think, appreciated in there.
Yep.
Anything else hardware side?
No. I think that's most of it.
Yeah, I know that you're going to play Mario Kart this right after the show. I will say, for my first impressions of it, I thought it was super fun. You know what I'm really liking about it is it feels just similar enough to Mario Kart where I'm good at it, but now there's new ways to get better at it. I think the rail grinding and the wall riding are two ways of boosting that really do elevate what you can do in the system. And all of the courses seem like there's so many different ways you can kind of go about using those elements, far more than Mario Kart 8. It feels like exploration is a larger design component. And it feels like the weight of items is the penalty for getting hit seems like it is less, and boosting items seem more prevalent. So like, it's almost like more speed and winning or getting you back in the game faster, yes. I think is kind of the name of the game.
The pack is also much tighter.
The what is?
The pack behind the lead is much tighter for the AI this time. At least it was. I've been tooling around on 50cc because I don't feel like actually thinking about the game right now.
Yeah, I've only been doing 50cc outside of the knockout online stuff, which we'll get to a second. But like, 'cause I want to learn the courses.
Yep.
Something I'm disappointed in is the open world itself. I don't know. I haven't spent a ton of time in it, but it's almost like they knew it wasn't terribly interesting and they kind of hide it. Like there's one small button on it's not like in the main like Grand Prix, multiplayer, whatever. Like there's no open world. There's like a small thing that you can either look at the map or hit the plus button to go into the open world. I haven't explored it enough to really give it a solid thing. There's like little challenges you can do, little secret coin boxes and a bunch of other stuff, but like it seemed odd that the presentation of it was not like front and center.
Yeah.
I like, because it feels different. If you do a Grand Prix, the Grand Prix work differently now, where you do 3 laps or however many laps on the first track of the Grand Prix, and then you drive to the next track as part of the race 2, and you do 1 lap around that track when you get there. And I actually really like it. I know some people have not enjoyed it because they're like, well, I just want to play the tracks. This feels like long open roads of like whatever. But like, I think with 24 characters in a race, that does really help. Like, I feel like in those moments, that's where the 24 really shines because it gives everyone a chance to sort of catch up and be in a pack. So I did really like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
It also, have you done Special Cup yet?
No.
Okay. Then I will save my thoughts on it for later.
Cool. Helio says, wait, open world part isn't really a huge part of the general game flow. It is a consistent background element.
Yeah.
You see a map, like when you're doing a Grand Prix or you're doing any of the versions, and it will draw street lines between where you're going. But it does not, outside of the knockout game, at least that I've found, like you'll still pause between races and then you'll start with you're already rolling down the street and it'll count down with you already going. You still do the boost and whatever at the end. But like there's still stop down between. Whereas I think knockout mode, the 24 player, I think it's called knockout. That was the thing where it really clicked for me. Did you play that, Will?
I have not yet.
Chaos. It's everything you loved about something like Jamie called that out. She's like, oh, it's got Fall Guys energy.
Sure.
But Fall Guys energy in a sense, because basically it's 5 tracks with no stopping. You do a lap around one, then you drive, then you do a lap around one, then you drive. Like you kind of just go on whatever path it randomly picks for you, with 23 other people online. And at every checkpoint of the 5 checkpoints, you lose the last 4 people in the race. They're just out. It's so much fun. And it's funny because you play the Grand Prix with 23 other computers and you're like, oh, neat. This feels calculated and right and whatever. You put 24 humans on a Mario Kart course. It's beautiful chaos. I have never been like more like hooked in and engaged on the game than I think in that thing. I think that's going to be I still haven't gotten to first place yet, but I think once I have my handle on the courses and what they do, that is where I'm going to be living.
Yeah. To Richard's worry about the whole driving between tracks thing means you only do one round. And that means first doesn't get peeled or hazarded. Sort of. A lot of them, there are hazards that you can put down as you enter the course that you drive onto the course and then to the starting line and then do the lap. So that space between where you enter the course and the starting line is a good spot for hazards. The other thing to keep in mind is that they have also, with 24 people, more people in the back have blue shells in their pool. Right? And there's only one way to dodge a blue shell in this game, and it's the speaker box. That's it.
I've tried doing it different ways.
I've tried with a bunch of other ways. So
you can. You know what my favorite thing is though? You can jump red shells. There's a feather item now, and if you can time the sound of it right, you can jump the red shell and it will go past you.
Yeah. That part feels like I get blue shelled a lot more, right? As first plays, right? Because I'm playing on 50cc against computers, right?
Yeah. Dogbird says, I found the open world drives kind of boring because they're mostly straight roads. I think there's 2 or 3 that are pretty boring, but I also think, I think it's roughly a 50-50 kind of, a 50-50 vibe of good and bad. Because there's one where you go over what is essentially like the Golden Gate Bridge, and you can rail grind or fly all around it, and it made it so engaging to do. I don't know. I think I'm pro and con of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Chat, we know we're in ads, but we're gonna keep going because we are
we're almost finished. We're kicking down. Will, did you get any other game other than Mario Kart?
Not a new one, but I did install the Breath of the Wild update pack.
Yep, I did Tears.
And the first place I went was the Korok Forest, because the Korok Forest used to make the Switch 1 die 1,000 tiny deaths, and there was nary a frame hitch. Combat was...
Sorry, I know I'm muting. I'm trying to mute my thing. So apologies for that. I heard people go in, but now it shouldn't do it again.
Okay. The frame rate and combat seemed very fast and very fluid. It launched pretty quickly. So I think for older games, if some of the performance was a sticking point, you're going to be able to play the older games. They're still there. They just getting the facelift update.
I think it is bullshit that, there's my swear for the day, that it is a $10 upgrade.
I agree.
I think that is some real feel bad nonsense. When Walmart is doing it better than you, maybe look in the mirror. That having been said, like I think 1 or 2 of the games actually gave you more things with it. Like I think Bowser's Fury might actually give you more levels or something. I don't remember exactly.
And the Zeldas come for free with your Nintendo Switch Plus
expansion pack, which I refuse to buy.
However, if you bought the bundle, or at least when I bought my bundle, it came with a code for a year.
So, but you can't use it if you're an existing Nintendo subscriber. You can't as a non-plus member sign up for expansion pass.
No, I used it. It was fine. I used it, claimed the free game immediately.
It says on the thing. I'll have to read it again. Did anyone else have that? Did anyone else? I read it as, oh, you're already a Nintendo Online member. You can't do this.
It was, you're a Nintendo Online member. We're not going to refund you for the difference between this and the year of the expansion pass, but like it's $20 for a year of Nintendo Online. That's fine. And then it just did it, and then I got the free stuff.
Well, I'll look into it, but I just don't like I don't like the way that their online stuff does.
I don't like it either. I think that it is a major hamperage to. I feel like they have really missed the point of giving away free stuff to encourage people to get into the ecosystem and explore it fully, right? The tech demo should have been free on every system, a la Astro's Playroom.
Sorry to the devs of that experience. I bet you it's really fun, but I hope it just rots in the e-store and no one does it.
I think that there were a lot of fumbles with the pricing, not because $80 isn't a price that the industry is going to go to $80. Whether or not the industry should go to $80 is a different question that we're not talking about now, but the industry is going to $80. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like all of the things that they could have done that would have been easy costs to eat to encourage people to move. Like one of my best friends asked me, should I get a Switch 2? And I said, no, not unless you're going to buy Mario Kart World. Don't get a Switch 2. Wait, right? Because it doesn't offer anything unless you really want to replace your Switch 1 with a slightly better Switch 1.
The UI is nice and snappy, but your Switch works totally fine.
Yeah, it's not. I think my review is, if you absolutely must be on the bleeding edge of everything, you're not listening to me wanting reasons to buy it or not, because if you're already on the bleeding edge, you've already got one, right? And if you're on the fence, don't, right? There's nothing to push you off the fence and to decide to buy it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You have to love, like, it's funny because Mario Kart is a huge game, like the franchise, etc. But it's also a game that, like, I know people also don't like. Like, there's gamers out there that just don't like Mario Kart.
Yeah.
There's not a lot else for you unless you haven't played a bunch of other games before.
Yep.
Although this will bring me into my last thing. I did want to reward with my dollars people putting physical games on physical cards. So I got Cyberpunk for it, and I ran some tests, both docked and handheld. It runs great.
Yeah.
I don't know how it does.
So it's very easy to forget this because we play on them all the time. A 4K screen is 4 times the pixels of a 1080 screen.
Sure. Yeah, I know that.
Right. Okay. And I know that intellectually, but it also means that it's 4 times the processing power to do that.
Yeah.
And so for optimizing for a tiny thing, it becomes a lot easier to like do a lot of these things. I guess I'm less impressed now, I guess, than I was forever ago about
what is the Switch 2 screen resolution?
I think it's 1080 on the screen and it'll do 1440 docked.
It's 1080p and it does 4K 60 hertz when docked, or it can support up to that. I have not hooked up. This is the one thing I didn't have time to do. I have not hooked it up to a 4K screen. I did it on my 1080 projector just to see how it did. It runs super smooth. I ran it with all the different control styles. I tried the gimmicky whatever. It's fun. It's not for me. I could see someone starting out. It could also be used for an accessibility thing, which I really, really liked. I also tried doing it with the mouse. You can play and use a mouse like you would on a PC to look around and do all the things. That was really fun. And this is the last thing I think I'll say. I did notice a lot, both in Mario Kart and Cyberpunk, the speakers on the system from a like mimicked surround sound perspective really hit. You know exactly when a red shell is coming from the back left. You know if a character's talking to you from the right side. Like, I was so impressed with the directional audio capabilities, far more than any other handheld I'd ever seen. I think the speakers might be one of the most impressive things about this thing.
Yep, I agree.
So I'm looking forward to hopefully there's more use of that.
Yeah.
I like JS. It runs that good due to ancient Slavic blood magic. Yeah, sure.
That seems right. All right, friends. I think that is going to do it. So if you're still here and you're in the comments after this giant thing.
Info dumps.
Yeah, reminder, you should tell us about what was your favorite trailer, what you liked or didn't like. Did you get a Switch 2? What did you get on the Switch 2? What do you think of the Switch 2? All of that in the comments below, or you can hit us up on Blue Sky to let us know your thoughts, feelings, opinions for next week. I know this has been a long one. I'm sorry. This is probably the longest episode we'll do this year because most years, Summer Game Fest isn't the same weekend as the Switch 2 release.
Yeah. Also,
Right?
Grass, I have not texted the mic yet on it. I think I will do that maybe later tonight. I'll let folks know when we game Thursday how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah, they made it sound like magic. I doubt it is.
Yeah, I super doubt it is too.
Especially because when I game on my thing, because I have the projector, all the hardware is on the right. So I'm not going to be talking directly at where my Switch is. I'm real curious how it handles that.
Yeah. Okay. I think, Matt, that's going to do it for today. So all that remains is for you to do our patented sign-off after this epic episode to send us on our way until we meet again for breakfast next week.
That's right. It's the same outro we do every week. It's real important that we keep doing it even on these longer ones because we want to make sure the sense of community and camaraderie and everything is still there. So if you'll please join me in all remember, why?
You faked me out. I was going to grab my Switch.
No. Just to do it again? Yeah, I was debating it.
Okay, cool. Chat, everybody, thank you so much for joining us for this. I know we ran.
That was a lot. That was
and we
a lot.
I felt like I probably should have cut Xbox. I probably should have cut Xbox, and we should have just done the 4 that were before Sunday, or cut something. But I felt like all of this was important, and then Switch 2 launch thoughts were very important because I know people were looking forward to those. So, yeah. Chat, hang out. We're gonna crack open some dopamine, and then we'll play some Switch games.
Nice.
So please hang out for that. We'll be doing a whole bunch of stuff this week. We got Rogue Review and Final Fantasy VI and Design Club and me and Matt. And don't forget that either this Friday or this Saturday, and we don't know yet which, Matt and I are going to interview some cool people about a thing that is also cool. That's all you get to know, but you should be looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Neo Wizmaster, you have a lot to catch up on because we went long.
Also, thank you for the 20 gifted for showing up at the end of the show.
Neo! That's very kind.
Thank you. Chat, if you got a gift sub from Neo Wizmaster, please say thank you.
Please, yeah.
This is the part where we say bye to Janet. Fare thee well, Janet. We will see you all Thursday for Design Club. Until then, leave comments down there.
Bye.
Bye.